With summer wrapping up faster than we wanted to, we cast off for a final run down the New England coast. The charts laid out countless tempting harbors in Massachusetts, but with a dwindling weather window, we had to choose our landfalls carefully. We plotted a course for the legendary ports of Gloucester, Marblehead, and Salem, and a trip down the Cape Cod Canal, with a final stop at the remote outpost of Cuttyhunk, before making for Rhode Island's infamous Newport and Block Island. Coming into Gloucester today, and we got 2 lighthouses out here. Gloucester is one of the most, famous, I guess you call it, for losing people at sea. So I guess that explains why there's 2 lighthouses. We are pulling into the town of Gloucester, made famous by the Perfect Storm movie. We've watched that recently, and it's quite the movie. And there's 10 Pound Island, which was mentioned in the movie. So we're going to hit all the movie hot spots, see if we can find the bar and all that. That'd be fun. We picked up a city mooring and settled into a secure berth. Even a rock had a berth. Our first stop ashore was the Gloucester Fishermen's Memorial, a powerful reckoning with the sea. The list of names is staggering. 5,368 men lost between 1716 and 1923. We also wanted to give a shout out to Virgilio's Italian Bakery and Deli. We've been here twice in, the 3 days that we're here. And this is Main Street, Restaurant Row. But Tano was the other really great spot. Wonderful dinner place. We are visiting the Gloucester Fishermen's Memorial today. Behind me you can see the memorial statue, and in front you will see the Psalm Bible verse about the ocean, which I didn't even know existed. And that Bible verse says, "They that go down to the sea in ships, that do business in great waters, these see the works of the Lord and his wonders in the deep." Psalm 107, 23-24. Pretty cool. What wasn't cool is how many people lost their lives up here, and continue today, although not nearly to the extreme as in years past. This memorial was put into place in 1923, and it commemorates the 5,368 men who lost their lives during that 300-year period. And I'm sure there are unnamed fishermen as well that did not make the list. From there, we explored a different kind of legend at Hammond Castle. Built between 1926 and 1929, it was the fortress of John Hayes Hammond Jr., the father of radio control. This is the genius who, with hundreds of patents to his name, successfully piloted a full-size ship at just 26 years old, using only radio control. He is also part of the reason we have guided missiles today. It's a must-see. Hammond Castle. Very eccentric gentleman built that. Very inventive. Very much an engineer. Kind of like Stephen. Eccentric engineer. Today we are anchored in Salem Harbor, and we are right at the edge of the mooring field. There's the mooring field, and you've got city of Salem on the right and the city of Marblehead on the left, and nice and calm here. This is the only place you can anchor, right on the edge of the mooring field. We learned also that there are over 8,000 boats registered in this area. For moorings, you have a 20-year waiting list. 20 years. All for 3 months of sailing. Kind of crazy.
Our next leg took us to the sailing capital of Marblehead. Nothing prepares you for the sight of 2,000 mooring balls packed along its 14 miles of shoreline. It's a sea of masts as far as the eye can see, and with the 3-year waiting list for mooring, we were content to be transient visitors on anchor in this yachting mecca.
We're entering the Cape Cod Channel. We've got about 25 knots of wind going into this channel, but we're pretty sure it's going to calm down once we get in there. We've had an awesome sail today down here from down here from the Marblehead, Salem, Massachusetts area, and we had great wind all the way, west wind, almost a beam reach, and just made 9 knots all the way down here. So we're entering the channel with the tide, which will be awesome. And I think we'll get to the end before the tide switches, which would be perfect.
Next up, the Cape Cod Canal. Every sailor knows some passages are all about timing the tide, and the Cape Cod Canal is the ultimate test. At 7.5 miles long, 32 feet deep, in the world's widest sea canal at 540 feet, its currents are formidable. We sailed down from Marblehead on a screaming 25-knot beam reach, our speed over ground hitting a thrilling 9 knots. We shot the entrance perfectly, but deep inside, the tide turned. The foul current gripped our keel and our speed plummeted. For about an hour, we slogged against the wind and the tide, making a painful 3 knots. All this while cyclists on the shore path breezed past us. That was embarrassing. The Cape Cod Canal is so large that sometimes you will even see whales. Wikipedia has a nice list of bridges I'll put in the notes. We anchored in Onset Harbor for the night and left bright and early on the tide with much calmer winds than the day before. After a calm night in Onset Harbor, we weighed anchor at dawn for a glorious sail across Buzzards Bay.
Gonna be in Buzzards Bay today. Buzzards Bay has a reputation for being really choppy, so hope for the best. Buzzards Bay, Massachusetts, Cleveland Ledge, Lighthouse, Foghorn, Tower.
We made landfall at Cuttyhunk in a thick fog, but the next day was beautiful for hiking and enjoying the views. Our passage continued to the epicenter of American sailing, Newport, Rhode Island.
We are arriving in Newport, Rhode Island. New state, across the state line, a little ways back. And we are now in the sailing capital of the world. Those are some tall sail ships. Very tall. Us, well, we're not sailing because the wind isn't right for a cat. But we did sail for a bit this morning, making 8.5, 9 knots for about 3 hours, so that's fine.
Plenty of restaurants and shopping, of course, but our favorite shore leave was the Cliffwalk, a spectacular 3.5-mile path with panoramic ocean views, stunning century-old Gilded Age mansions, and beautiful, well, rocks.
We are on the Cliffwalk this morning, 3.5-mile walk, actually among the cliffs. This is the first mansion that we see on Cliffwalk. Newport has a ton of mansions. We're going to see a lot of them today on this Cliffwalk. Beautiful wildflowers here as well along the trail, and some kind of fruit. I'll have to look that up, but it's all mixed in with the flowers and cliffs. And Steven says they're fishing for stripers and bluefish. Right, Steven?
That's what I think. I have to wait and see if they catch one.
It's an interesting little pass. Well, looks like the sidewalk fell out. You can see remnants of it along the wall, but washed out. I can see why. Bet that can get pretty nasty. And believe it or not, in the middle of Rhode Island, you have surfers. That's gotta be some cold water. Last time we looked, it was 70, I think, and that was in the harbor. So it's gotta be pretty chilly out there now. Smart people got wetsuits. The others don't. Wow.
Picked up nice waves.
Yeah. The rocks and the seaweed still look a lot like Ireland.
Our final port of call, Block Island. We dropped the hook in the Great Salt Pond and rented scooters to tour the island, completing the loop past Monhegan Bluffs Lighthouse and the Overlook. It is an explorer's paradise, and it's easy to see why. 40% of the island is set aside for conservation.
We are at the Block Island Southeast Lighthouse, built in 1873, moved in 1993. And there's no mopeds, bikes, or unauthorized vehicle beyond the gate. And then beyond the gate, there's bike racks for bikes. We can't quite figure that one out, but maybe you can. Here's a lighthouse from the water. Another Fresnel lens that is still in use. This is probably one of the prettiest lighthouses I've seen in terms of the actual building part of it. And out here is where the lighthouse used to be. They had to move it because it was going to fall in. We've seen a lot of equipment up here that looked like it was for installation of these wind generators.
We'll go to the Overlook.
No. Yes.
What?
Yes. Here's a little tour of Block Island. This is the ponds that are connected to the Great Salt Pond. Very shallow, but kind of unique back here. I guess these are summer cottages, Victorian summer cottages, versus the Victorian regular house.
Good.
Here we are at Block Island. We are just doing a little walk today, going over to New Shoreham, which is the original city, pre-Victorian era, the original harbor, and we're just gonna head up to the beach.
We were there when the Great Fire destroyed the old Harbor Inn. But a sailor can't stay in one port for long. The charts are out and a new course is laid. Next stop, Long Island Sound, Shelter Island.
Leaving Block Island Sunday morning. A lot of traffic today. It's been busy since about 6 a.m. People leaving, people coming. We're headed to Shelter Island because Block Island was really nice. But we did everything and we want to see Shelter Island, and I think it's going to be warmer. Haven't been able to go swimming all summer. It's kind of cold up here. One of these days we're going to get far enough south where I can actually get in the ocean.
That's it for our quick trip down Massachusetts and Rhode Island. Make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram for daily updates. And of course, subscribe on YouTube for notifications of our next videos. See you out there.